Life at Heartland has learned how to move forward, but it has never truly healed. Every day looks normal on the outside, yet something always feels missing. The ranch still runs, the horses are still cared for, and the land still breathes with quiet strength, but there is a deep silence that never goes away. Amy carries that silence with her. She smiles when she has to. She stays strong for Lindy, and she keeps going because that is what life demands from her. But inside, the pain never fully leaves. It only sleeps, waiting for the smallest moment to wake it up again. Amy's world has been built around survival, not peace. She has learned how to hold herself together even when her heart feels heavy. Every step she takes feels like a promise to keep going, even when she is tired. Lindy watches her mother closely, sensing emotions she does not yet fully understand. She asks questions that don't always have answers. Questions about love, about family, and about someone she knows only through stories and memories. The ranch becomes a place of comfort and sadness at the same time, filled with echoes of laughter that once lived there. The season carefully builds this quiet emotional weight. Nothing feels rushed. The days pass slowly, allowing the audience to feel the same stillness Amy feels. It is not loud pain. It is soft pain. The kind that stays with you at night when everything is quiet. The kind that teaches you how to live with loss instead of fighting it. This calm, steady rhythm makes the coming moment feel even more powerful. Because when something breaks that silence, it breaks everything Amy thought she had learned about moving on. The moment Ty appears is not dramatic in a loud way. There is no big music, no sudden movement. Instead, it feels unreal, like time stops for a few seconds. Amy does not react right away. Her body freezes before her heart catches up. Her eyes search his face, almost as if she is afraid to believe what she is seeing. This is not just a surprise. It is a shock that shakes the ground beneath her feet. Ty's return feels impossible because the show has spent so much time teaching both Amy and the audience how to accept life without him. His presence brings confusion before joy. Is this real? Or is it the mind holding onto something it cannot let go of? The writers allow that question to sit in the air. They do not rush to explain anything. That choice makes the moment stronger. The silence speaks louder than words ever could. Amy's breathing changes. Her hands shake. This is not happiness right away. This is fear mixed with hope. The fear of opening a wound she worked so hard to close. The hope that maybe, just maybe, some losses are not final. Ty stands there calm, familiar, and steady, exactly as he always was. That calmness makes everything more painful and more beautiful at the same time. This scene reminds viewers why Ty mattered so much. He was never just a character. He was safety, support, and love. His return forces Amy to face emotions she thought she had already survived. It challenges the idea that healing means forgetting. Instead, it shows that healing sometimes means facing the pain again, even when you are scared to do so. When Amy finally breaks down, it does not feel weak. It feels honest. The tears fall not because she is sad, but because she can no longer hold everything inside. Her strength has always been about endurance, not silence. Seeing Ty unlocks years of unspoken emotions. The love she never stopped feeling. The anger she never allowed herself to express. The longing she tried to bury deep inside her heart. Her tears are slow and quiet. They carry weight. Each tear feels like a memory being released. She is not crying for the past alone. She is crying for the future she thought she lost forever. This moment reshapes Amy as a character. It shows that moving on does not mean letting go of love. It means learning how to live with it in a new way. The scene allows Amy to be human again. Not the strong ranch owner. Not the brave single mother. Just a woman who loved deeply and lost deeply. The camera stays with her emotions, letting the audience sit inside that pain with her. There is no rush to comfort her. No quick resolution. Just space to feel. This moment also speaks to anyone who has experienced loss. It reminds us that grief does not disappear. It changes shape. Sometimes it waits quietly. Sometimes it comes back strong when we least expect it. Amy's tears are not the end of her journey. They are a step forward, even if it does not feel that way at first. Lindy's reaction is the softest and most powerful part of this entire moment. While the adults are overwhelmed by emotion, Lindy responds with pure honesty. She does not carry years of pain or confusion. She only feels connection. Her eyes are curious, gentle, and open. She does not question what she sees. She accepts it that her presence brings warmth to the scene. Where Amy feels fear and disbelief, Lindy feels safety. This contrast makes the moment even more emotional. Lindy represents the future, untouched by the weight of the past. Her small gestures speak louder than words. A look, a step forward, a quiet sense of belonging. This moment shows how love can be passed down, even through loss. Lindy's reaction feels like a bridge between what was and what could still be. She brings light into a moment filled with heavy emotion. Her innocence reminds Amy and the audience that life continues in unexpected ways. By ending this emotional arc with Lindy, the show grounds the story in hope. Not loud hope, gentle hope, the kind that grows slowly over time. This heart-melting moment does not answer every question. It does not explain how or why Ty is there, but it gives something more important. It gives feeling. And sometimes, feeling is enough to carry a story forward. Ty's return does not feel like a moment meant to shock with noise or drama. It feels quiet, almost fragile, like something that could disappear if anyone breathes too hard. The world around Amy keeps moving, but for her, time slows down in a way that feels unreal. She is not ready for what her eyes are seeing, and her mind refuses to accept it at first. This is not a happy reunion. This is confusion wrapped in disbelief. Amy has spent so long teaching herself how to live without Ty that seeing him again feels wrong, even painful. Her heart reacts before her thoughts can catch up. Every memory she locked away begins to rise at once. The way he used to stand. The way his presence made everything feel steady. Those memories rush back without asking permission. She does not step forward. She does not speak. She stands still, afraid that any movement might break the moment. What makes this return so powerful is how natural it feels. Ty does not appear as a stranger or a ghost. He feels real, solid, and familiar, like he never truly left. That is what makes it hurt. Amy is forced to face the fact that love does not fade just because time passes. It waits. It stays buried, ready to come back the moment it is awakened. This return opens wounds she thought were healed, but also brings comfort she never stopped missing. The show chooses not to explain anything right away, and that choice matters. There are no answers, no clear reasons, and no sense of control. The audience is placed inside Amy's emotions, feeling the same uncertainty she feels. Is this really happening, or is this her heart playing tricks on her? That question hangs heavy in the air, making every second feel longer. Ty's presence changes the energy of the scene without saying a single word. His calm contrasts with Amy's inner storm. He looks at her with the same quiet understanding he always had, and that look alone carries years of shared history. It reminds her of who she was when she was with him. Not just a survivor, but someone who felt safe being herself. This moment challenges the idea that grief has an ending. Amy believed she had reached the point where the pain was manageable. Ty's return proves that grief is not something you finish. It is something that changes shape over time. Sometimes it becomes quiet. Sometimes it comes back strong. And sometimes it stands right in front of you, forcing you to face everything you tried to leave behind. The power of this scene comes from restraint. Nothing is rushed. The silence feels heavy, filled with words that are never spoken. Amy's eyes say more than dialogue ever could. They show fear, love, anger, and hope all at once. This mix of emotions makes the return feel real, not like a twist, but like a deeply personal moment that belongs to her alone. Ty's return is not just about him coming back. It is about what his presence unlocks inside Amy. It reminds her that her heart never truly moved on. It only learned how to endure. This moment marks a turning point, not because it gives answers, but because it forces Amy to feel again in a way she has avoided for a long time. And once that door is opened, there is no closing it again. As if the one person you learned to live without suddenly stood right in front of you again. No warning, no explanation, just a face that brings back love, pain, and memories you tried so hard to bury. In Heartland Season 20, one moment changes everything. And once it happens, nothing feels the same again. Amy does not cry right away. At first, she tries to hold herself together, the same way she has done for years. Her shoulders stay tight, her jaw locked, her breathing controlled. She has learned how to survive by staying strong, by keeping her emotions in check, by never letting the pain show for too long. But this moment is different. Seeing Ty again breaks through every wall she built to protect herself. The strength she relied on for so long begins to slip, and there is nothing she can do to stop it. When the tears finally come, they do not rush out. They fall slowly, quietly, as if even her pain is tired. Each tear carries weight. These are not tears of weakness. They are tears of release. Amy is not only crying for the man standing in front of her, but for every night she spent pretending she was okay. For every morning she woke up and chose to keep going even when her heart felt heavy. This is the first time she allows herself to feel everything at once. Her emotions move in waves. One moment, her heart feels full, almost hopeful. The next, it feels broken all over again. Love and loss collide inside her, leaving her unsure of what to hold on to. She wants to reach out, but fear keeps her still. Fear that this moment will disappear. Fear that if she accepts it, the pain will return stronger than before. Her tears become the only honest response her body can give. This moment changes how we see Amy. She is no longer just a strong woman who held everything together. She becomes someone who is allowed to fall apart. Her tears remind us that healing is not about being perfect or calm. It is about being honest with yourself, even when it hurts. Amy's grief never truly left her. It simply waited for a moment like this to rise back to the surface. The silence around her makes the scene even more powerful. No one rushes to comfort her. No one tries to fix what she is feeling. The show allows her pain to exist without interruption. That choice makes the moment feel real. Grief does not need words. Sometimes it only needs space. Amy finally gives herself that space, and in doing so, she takes her first real step toward healing. Her tears also speak to the future. They are not just about the past she lost, but about the future she thought she would never have. This moment forces her to question everything she believed about moving on. Maybe moving on does not mean letting go. Maybe it means learning how to carry love in a different way. Amy's tears become a turning point, reminding her that love does not disappear just because life changes. As the tears fall, something inside Amy softens. The pain does not leave, but it becomes lighter. She is no longer holding it alone. For the first time in a long time, she allows herself to be vulnerable without fear. This moment does not give her answers. It gives her permission to feel. And that permission changes everything moving forward. Lindy does not understand everything happening around her, but she feels it. Children often sense emotions before they understand words. And in this moment, Lindy feels a shift in the air. The adults are heavy with feeling, frozen between shock and pain. But Lindy reacts from a place that is simple and pure. She is not thinking about the past or the future. She is only responding to what feels familiar, safe, and real. While Amy is overwhelmed by memories and fear, Lindy steps forward with quiet confidence. There is no hesitation in her movement, no doubt in her eyes. She looks at Ty not with confusion, but with curiosity and comfort, as if some part of her already knows him. This is what makes the moments so powerful. Lindy does not carry the weight of loss the way Amy does. She carries possibility. Her reaction softens everything. The tension in the room eases, even if only for a moment. Lindy's presence brings warmth into a space filled with heavy emotion. She does not ask questions right away. She does not demand answers. Her silence feels gentle, not awkward. It reminds everyone that love does not always need explanation. Sometimes it simply exists. This moment shows how powerful innocence can be. Lindy becomes the bridge between what was lost and what still remains. She represents the future that continues to grow even after heartbreak. Through her, the story shifts from pain to hope without saying a single word. Her small gestures carry deep meaning, proving that emotion does not always need grand actions to be felt. Amy watches Lindy closely, and something changes inside her. Seeing her child respond with such openness reminds her of what she is fighting for. It reminds her that life did not stop with loss. It continued quietly through Lindy. In that instant, Amy's pain is still there, but it is no longer the only thing she feels. There is love again. There is warmth again. Lindy's heart-melting presence also changes how the audience experiences this moment. Viewers are reminded that grief is not passed down the same way love is. While pain can shape us, it does not define the next generation. Lindy's reaction feels like a promise that even after the deepest loss, something beautiful can still grow. This scene does not try to be dramatic. It does not push emotions too hard. That is why it works. Lindy's calm, gentle energy allows the moment to breathe. It tells the audience that healing does not always come through answers or explanations. Sometimes it comes through connection. Sometimes it comes through a child who sees the world without fear. By the time the moment ends, the feeling lingers. Lindy does not solve the mystery of Ty's return, and she does not erase Amy's pain. What she does is something far more important. She reminds everyone that love still lives here. And as long as that love exists, the story is not over. Ty's return changes the meaning of everything that comes after it. It is not just a moment meant to shock the audience. It reshapes the direction of the story in a quiet but powerful way. From this point on, nothing at Heartland feels simple anymore. Every choice Amy makes now carries more weight, because the past she thought was behind her is suddenly standing beside her again. For Amy, this moment forces her to face a truth she has avoided for a long time. She did not move on because she stopped loving Ty. She moved on because she had to survive. His return brings back questions she never allowed herself to ask. What does healing really mean? Is it about letting go or learning how to live with what you lost? This shift makes her journey in season 20 deeper and more emotional than ever before. The family dynamic at Heartland also begins to change. Ty's presence, whether permanent or temporary, opens emotional doors for everyone. Old wounds surface. Unspoken feelings come closer to the surface. The ranch is no longer just a place of routine and responsibility. It becomes a space where the past and present exist together, sometimes in harmony, sometimes in conflict. This emotional tension adds a new layer to the season, making every quiet moment feel important. Season 20 uses this return to slow the story down. Instead of rushing toward answers, it focuses on emotional consequences. Amy must decide how much of her heart she is willing to open again. Lindy must begin to understand her own connection to a story that started before she could remember. The family must learn how to hold space for pain without letting it take control. These are not easy choices, and the show allows them to unfold naturally. This moment also raises uncertainty about what is real and what is symbolic. Is Ty's return meant to stay, or is it part of Amy's emotional healing? The beauty of the story is that it does not rush to explain. It allows viewers to sit with that uncertainty, just like the characters do. That choice respects the audience and deepens the emotional impact of the season. More than anything, Ty's return reminds us why Heartland has lasted so long. It understands that real life is not made of clean endings. It is made of moments that overlap, emotions that return, and love that never fully disappears. Season 20 leans into that truth, choosing emotion over explanation and connection over shock. As the season moves forward, this moment becomes a quiet turning point. Not because it answers every question, but because it changes how the characters move through the world. Amy is no longer just carrying loss. She is carrying possibility. And with that possibility comes fear, hope, and the risk of loving deeply again. That risk is what makes the rest of the season feel alive. This moment stands apart from many emotional scenes the show has delivered over the years because it does not rely on shock alone. It earns its power through patience. Season after season, the story allowed grief to exist quietly, without shortcuts. By the time this moment arrives, the audience has lived inside Amy's loss long enough to feel it as their own. That shared experience is what makes this scene feel unforgettable. What makes it even stronger is how real it feels. There is no attempt to force emotion or rush reactions. The pain unfolds naturally the way it does in real life. People do not always break down right away. Sometimes they freeze. Sometimes they stay silent. Sometimes they need time before they can even understand what they are feeling. This scene respects that truth, and that respect is what gives it lasting impact. Compared to other emotional moments in the series, this one feels more mature. It is not about heartbreak alone. It is about everything that comes after heartbreak: survival, endurance, love that stays even when the person is gone. The show does not treat grief as something dramatic that fades after one big scene. It treats it as something that becomes part of who you are. That honesty is why this moment feels deeper than many others.